Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. I'm just going to wait a couple seconds here before we get started, just because I can see people trickling in. Hi, Carl. Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining us again. Today is our final session of our April Challenger. Just like before, this session is recorded. If anybody wanted to revisit the previous sessions, so session 1, 2, and 3, they are all on YouTube channel now. So if you're not sure where to find that, you can always send us an email and we can direct you to the right place. Hopefully you have found the chat box. It should be open on your right-hand side. If it's not open, it might be in a little blue icon that says public room. If you click on it, the chat box should open up. And at the very top of the chat box, I put a link for our future events and classes because today is the last session. So if you wanted to sign up for future classes, you can click on that link and it'll direct you to our current listings. And of course, our listings are always advertised about 1 to 2 months before the actual event. So if you're looking for something going on in the summer, now is a good time to sign up. For today's class, just like before, you're going to be needing a little cushion, which looks like this. Doesn't have to be the size exactly, but something small that you can hold on to with your hands. And you're also going to need either 2 tea towels like this or some kind of a lightweight fabric, something that you don't have to, I guess, spend a lot of effort trying to hold on to. So nothing too big, like a bath towel, too big, but something like a face towel, a tea towel, scarves, if they're lightweight, things like that would be really, really good. You need 2 of them. So those 2 tea towels, fabrics, and also the little cushion. But other than that, no other equipment will be needed. And I know that there's a couple people who are actually new today, even though it's the final session, but that's okay. Just do your best to follow along. And just like always, if anything feels too hard for you, don't worry, I'll give you some modifications. And don't take yourself too seriously. We want to mostly have fun moving around. And if you did want to talk to me today during the class or ask me any questions, you can do so through the chat box. So I won't be able to actually read it while we're moving because I'll be exercising with you. But at the end of the class, I will come closer to the screen and I can have a read of any questions that anybody has. Okay. Oh, and if you do have any suggestions for any future exercise classes you would like to see, let me know, drop me an email, and we can see if we can incorporate those things. Because actually, I'd probably say 80% of our exercise programs started as a result of people emailing us, telling us what they want to see. So if you're one of those people who have a really awesome idea about what you want to see in an exercise program, let us know and we'll do our best to put it in. Okay, well, I think that's it. So let's get started. I'll just pull up my timer here. Hopefully you guys can all see me and hear me. I see that a few people have just joined in. You didn't miss much other than our equipment, which I mentioned was just a cushion, something small that you can hold on to. And you need 2 tea towels or a lightweight fabric of some kind, like a scarf or something like that. So 2 of them and 1 pillow for today's class. Okay, let's have a stand up. So because it is our April Challenger class, there's no seated modifications in this class. If you are someone who wants to do a seated class, you can have a look on our YouTube channel for our previous seated exercise circuit, which is basically like the April Challenger, except in a seated position. Okay, let's start by marching on the spot. We're gonna work on lifting our knees nice and high as we're marching, and you're gonna try and swing those arms as much as you can. And it's really important here while you're marching, we're not just swinging the arms forward, but we also want to swing them backwards. So for example, if I turn to the side, you can see that my arms shouldn't just do this, right? but you want them to swing backwards as well. So the backward swing is just as important, if not more important than that forward swing. Opposite arm to leg as you're marching. Trying to get the knees nice and high. Now, if at any point during today's class, things feel a little bit too fast for you, don't worry. You can feel free to slow down the movements as long as your amplitude of the movement is still the same and the technique is still good. Okay, we're going to keep the marching pattern going. This time, we're going to travel sideways. So we're doing the same marching pattern, but we're just traveling side to side across the room that you're in right now. Just be careful not to hit any obstacles or stub your toe on anything. And make sure as we're traveling, we're really trying to lift up the knees just as high as if you were marching on the spot. Your arms should still be swinging, not just forward, but backwards as well as you're doing your lateral weight shift. Now remember, it doesn't need to be fast. We're doing our warm-up at the moment. So just go at a pace that works for you, but we're gonna start getting this traveling in, getting used to weight shifting and moving across the space. Let's do 2 more. Wherever you are, we're gonna do 2 more laps of this side-to-side movement. Last one. All the way to the end of the room, if you have space. And then we're gonna come back to the middle. Great, now we're gonna drop the arms. We're gonna keep the legs going, but this time you're going to float those arms up into a T shape, like so. And then now you're going to bring your knee to the opposite hand, like so. Now, notice here I'm saying bring your knee up to your hand and not your hand to your knee. The reason I say that is because I don't want us to start doing this. Because then what you're doing here is you're leaning forward, but I want you to keep your chest up, keep your back straight, and I want you to lift that knee as high as you can in order to meet that opposite hand and making sure you're moving your arms back out into this T shape every time. Now for this one, the slower you go, the harder it is because you are trying to balance a little bit as you're doing this movement. Good. And now on your next one, we're going to bring the knee up to our forearm this time. So the opposite forearm this time, meaning that you got to twist your torso a little bit more in order for that knee to reach the forearm. Now, if you can't reach the forearm with your knee, that's okay. Just go as far as you feel you're able to. Really trying to lift those knees up as high as possible, keeping your spine up nice and long. Imagining you got a book balancing on your head and you don't want to drop it. Good. And on the next one, you're going to bring your knee to the elbow, the opposite elbow this time, meaning that you got to twist even more here than the last time. Of course, if you can't actually get your knee to touch the elbow, that's okay, no worries. You're just going to twist as far as you feel you're able to. Remember, we're not rushing through this. We want to go slightly slower just so you can have half a second here to balance on each leg before moving on to the other one. Check in with yourself. Is your chest still nice and tall and open? Or are we bending down forwards? Good. Let's do 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1, and drop the arms. This time, we're going to tap our heel forward and circle our opposite arm backward in a circle. So we're circling our arm backwards as we're tapping the heel forward. Noticing here, I'm actually tapping the heel and I'm not stepping on the leg in front. And you don't want to do a hard tap either. You want it to be nice and light. Imagine there are eggshells on the floor and we don't want to break any of them. We just want to tap that heel forward nice and light while circling back the opposite arm. Bit of coordination for you here. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Whoops, I messed up there. Okay, we're going to tap our toes out to the side this time. And as we're tapping our toes out, you're going to reach the opposite arm to the leg away from you on a diagonal and bring it back. Reaching away on a diagonal, bring it back. So notice here how my hand is really open and spread. So you want the fingers to be nice and stretched apart. And it's almost like you're trying to get your fingertip to reach something on the wall. There'll be a little bit of a lean here as you're doing this, but remember, when you tap your toe out to the side, you're not stepping on that leg, right? Because we want to keep your weight in the middle of your supporting leg, but you're just tapping one of your legs away to try to test your balance a little bit, but we're not actually putting too much weight on that leg. Let's do 6, 5, 4, 3, well done, 2, last one, and rest. Okay, this time we're gonna tap our toes backwards like this. So see here, I'm not stepping back, I'm just tapping. I'm tapping the toes back. And as we do this, the opposite arm is going to circle forwards this time, not back, forward this time. Feels a little bit like a bit of a swim. And you're keeping your weight relatively steady in the middle, just tapping your toes backwards. But you're not stepping on it, you're just tapping it backwards. Now, if your shoulders are bothering you, you don't need to circle your arms quite as big. You can circle them just a little bit like so. It doesn't have to go too far up if you don't want to. Whatever works for you, as long as you keep the opposite arm to leg moving. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, last one, and rest. Okay, feet are going to be hip width apart, maybe a little wider. We're going to do our squat. We're going to squat down, float those arms up in front of us, stand back up, rise up on our toes, bring the arms out to the side. So here's what it looks like from the side. You're sticking your bottom back, standing up, rise up onto your toes, and lower down, okay? So you're squatting down, standing up, squatting down, and then heels up. Feel free to do this slower if you like, or if you want to just skip the heel raise, that's okay as well, whatever works for you. But see if you can challenge yourself a little bit, even if it's a tiny second of a heel raise. If you feel comfortable to, please try to do so. How are we doing? Good. Let's do 4 more here. 4, 3, 2, last one, and rest. Open those legs up nice and wide, arms reaching out. We're going to tip down to the side to stretch the outside of your body, making sure here your chest is facing forward, so we're not tipping down like this. We want our chest facing forward, holding it for a couple of seconds. And then we're going to turn our body over that same direction a little bit more, rotating, clasping those hands together. And then other side, tipping down to the side, stretching the outside of your body, keeping your chest forward. And then we're going to clasp the fingers and rotate to that same side as far as you feel you can. Let's do 1 more each side, tipping down. And then we're going to rotate toward the same side as far as you can. And then out to the side, rotating a little bit further if you can. And rest. Okay, are we a little bit warm? I think I see a comment here. Oh, it's Neil saying hi. Okay, So our exercises today, here's what we're going to do. We have 5 exercises. We're doing 2 minutes on the clock for each exercise, and we're going to run through everything twice. Okay, so technically 10 exercises and then you're done. So not that bad. Okay, first exercise, legs are going to be wide. So you're going to bring your legs wider than your hip width apart. Turn the toes out on a bit of a diagonal. So you don't want them pointing forward. You want them just out on a diagonal, just a little bit, because you're opening your legs quite wide. Arms are going to be open like so. You're going to squat down, and then when you stand up, you're going to clap on a diagonal. Noticing here, I stand up leaning toward one side. My other leg, it's barely touching the floor, just the toes touching the floor. And then you open back up into the squat, clapping to the opposite side, like so. So really make sure your legs are nice and wide. If your legs are too close together, it's going to end up looking like this. You're not really going to be transferring your weight, whereas if your legs are wider, it's a little bit more challenging for you to push up on those legs to press on a diagonal, okay? If you want more of a challenge, what you can do here is after you squat down and you're reaching up, you can lift that leg completely off the floor if you want to test your balance, but I don't want to see you do this. Right? We want to make sure the upward movement is in one swift move, and we're not taking too long trying to balance before we clap. Okay, should we try 2 minutes? Arms out. 3, 2, 1, and go. So up to you what version you want to do. As long as you're moving as big as you can, really stick that bottom down toward the floor as far as you can go, and pushing back up using the strength of your legs. Imagine that you're pushing the floor away from you as you're coming up to help you engage the right muscle pattern. And make sure you're actually clapping overhead. So I don't want to see anybody do this. Doesn't count. You want to make sure you're on that angle. So you're not forward, but you're on that angle. So you get a little bit of a stretch there as well. How we doing? Well done. Make sure you're not holding your breath. You've got 1 minute left. Remember, if this is too fast for you, don't worry. Feel free to slow it down. You don't have to do the same speed as I'm doing, as long as you're moving with the same amount of amplitude and the same amount of energy. It doesn't necessarily need to be too quick. Good. Keep going, everybody. Really feel that weight shift in your legs as you're doing this movement. Don't hold your breath. Keep breathing. I know the arms are probably a bit sore now. Make sure you're clapping on a diagonal. You've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and drop the arms and relax. Okay. Next one, you're going to grab hold of your cushion. So this one here, I'm going to turn sideways because I want you to be able to see. And I want you to make sure you have some room in front of you and behind you. Because here's what you're going to do. I'll show you the legs first. Ignore the arms. So your legs, you're going to lunge forward across the room like so. So ignore the arms, just the legs for a second. And then you're going to lunge backwards across the room. Okay, let me show you again. Lunging forward across the room. So I'm only doing 2 because my living room is not too long, but if you have a lot of room and you can do more than 2, please feel free to do so. Now, if the lunging is too tough for you and you would rather step, that's okay as well. But if you are stepping, I don't want to see anybody do this. Doesn't count. Doesn't count. You got to step more. Step as far as you can. If you're not lunging, I still want you to step as far as you can. As far as you can. Okay? Now, here's what we're going to do with the arms. You got the cushion in your hands. As you lunge or step forward, you're going to rotate the cushion around your body. So step or lunge forward, rotate the cushion around your body. Then when you go backwards, you're going to throw the cushion in the air. Going backwards, throw the cushion in the air, like so. So when you're going forward, the cushion goes around the body. When you're going backwards, you're throwing it in the air. Make sense? If you are doing lunges, I want you to keep that knee as low as you can. The back knee towards the floor, almost like you're going to kneel down, but maybe not quite. Okay? Okay, have we all got our cushions? Ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. Going around the body with that cushion. When you go forward, remember to step out as far as you can. When you go back, you're throwing that cushion up in the air while holding your balance, and then same thing forward. You want to think about your body like an elevator shaft. You can only be in the vertical plane, and we're not going to lean the body forward. You can only go up and down. How are we doing? Good. Keep going, trying to separate those legs, really step out as far as you can, especially going backwards. I know the stepping back is a little bit harder, so you want to make sure that you're really working on that. Keep the body upright, trying to balance in that split leg stance as you're doing those pillow activities. Good, well done everybody. You got less than a minute left. Make sure you're breathing. We're not holding our breath. Make sure when you are balancing in the split leg position, you're not just kind of tossing the pillow up in the air, but you are actually getting the pillow to reach that ceiling if you can. So you're throwing as high as you can possibly go. The pillow's got to actually leave your hand. Well done, everybody. You got about 20 seconds left. Almost there. Check in with yourself. Where's your torso? Is it still upright? Or are you leaning forward now? 3, 2, 1. Rest. Good. Okay. We're going to hold on to the cushion because our next one, we're going to use the cushion as well. So this next one, I need you to turn sideways like this. I'll show you what it is. So you turn sideways, legs are wide. And what you're going to do here, you're going to reach the pillow up into the air, rise up onto your toes, then you're going to lower your heels down and throw the pillow as hard as you can into the floor. Then you're going to jump or step to switch to the other side. Same thing. Rise up on your toes. Use that as a way to drive the momentum of throwing the pillow on the floor. Then if you can either jump or step. If you don't want to jump, stepping looks like this. And then doing the same thing again. Jump or step to the other side. If you are stepping, I want you to challenge yourself to see if you can take only 3 steps to get to where you need to be. Only 3 steps. Of course, if you need more, please take more. But if you are doing stepping, challenge yourself and see how many steps it takes you to get around. Okay, are we ready? Should we try? Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. Make sure you're throwing that cushion into the floor as hard as you can. Almost like you're throwing it so hard, the cushion might actually bounce off the floor. And make sure, if you can, you're rising onto your toes before you drop that cushion down into the floor. If the rising onto the toes is too hard for you, that's okay. You don't have to do that part. But try your best and see if you can get even just a little bit of your heels off the floor. Now, if you are doing the jumping version and you're getting tired, that's okay. You can mix it with some stepping to turn if you like. How are we doing? Make sure the cushion actually goes above your head when you're rising and then throwing it at the floor. You got 1 minute. Make sure you're breathing. Well done, everybody. Ooh, it's hard to exercise with glasses on, I must say. I should get one of those elastic bands that go around the head. Well done, everybody. Keep going. Make sure you're reaching those arms up as high as you can to the ceiling as you're rising onto those toes and then slamming that cushion down into the floor as hard as you can. You're almost there. You got 25 seconds left. Well done, well done. Keep it going. Remember, if you want to jump, you can, but you don't have to. If you want to try some jumping, you can maybe try a few in a row and then go back to the stepping. If you like, whatever works for you. But I want you to challenge yourself. It's the last class. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Woo. Okay. We're going to put the cushion away. And we're going to now use our scarves or your towels or whatever fabrics you've got. Okay, so this one is very similar to the previous pillow one we had, where we had the pillow around our body and then throwing up into the air. So similar to that in terms of the legs. So legs, here's what you're going to do. Exactly the same. Lunging forward across your room like so. And then whenever you reach the end, you're going to lunge backwards or step. If you don't want to lunge, you can step as well, as long as your steps don't look like this. Doesn't count, right? This doesn't count. You got to go a little bit bigger. So you got to actually weight shift. Now, arms. So for people who are new, what we did previously was we threw the towel or fabric or whatever you have in your hand up in the air and caught it again. So we throw and catch. So we're going to do the same thing. Now, as you lunge forward, I want you to throw and catch with the opposite side, like so. And then same thing on the way back, opposite arm. Whoops, let me do that again. Opposite arm, two leg on the way back, like so. Okay, so if I turn to face you for a second, it looks like this. If I'm using this leg to lunge, I'm using the opposite arm, so opposite to the leg, to throw and catch, so like this. And then hold that position, same with the other side, hold that position. Okay, so opposite arm to the leg when you're throwing and catching. So same thing when you're lunging forward and back, okay? Right, shall we try? Okay, ready, 3, 2, 1, and go. So you can step instead of lunging if you like, or if this is too tough for you and you don't want to travel, you can just do it on the spot, like this, going forward and then going back. So if you prefer not to travel, you can just do it on the spot as well. But if you are traveling, I do want you to hold that position wherever you caught the towel or fabric. Hold that position for just a second or two to really test your balance. Good, well done, everybody. This one's a little bit tough. Make sure you're breathing. Keep that chest up if you can. How we doing? You got 1 minute left. You're almost there. Almost there. If you need a break, take a break and get right back into it if you can. Or you can keep going, but rather than lunge very low, you can step instead. So you can modify it in order to help build that stamina and keep going. Well done, everybody. You've got 30 seconds left. You're almost there, almost there. Keep breathing through it. Keep that chest up. Well done. Almost there. 20 seconds. Breathing. Good. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, drop your towels. Awesome job. Okay, so our next one here, so this is our final one, I think. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we got one more, which is our 5th exercise, and then we restart everything from the beginning. So you are almost there. Okay, next one, there's a few different options. Option 1, you're gonna start with the legs pretty narrow, and then what you're gonna do with the legs is you're going to step out, squat, come back in, other side. Step out, squat, come back in. That's it for the legs. Okay, so that's the one for the legs. You're traveling side to side. Now, adding the arms. As you step out and lunge, I want you to reach one arm down to the floor and one arm up to the ceiling. You're rotating your chest to look at the top arm if you can, or if you can't, don't worry about the looking. You can look wherever you want and then come back in. Same thing, other side. Lunge, or sorry, not lunge, squat down, and you're looking at your top arm, like so. Okay, that's your first option. If you can't touch the floor, don't worry, that's okay. Doing this is okay as well, okay? You don't need to touch the floor if you can't, no worries, as long as we keep the legs moving. Now, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is easy, and you want to challenge yourself, by all means, you can add a jump like this. And up. Jump and up. Jump. Okay, so it's up to you what you would like to do. I think there's a question. In the jump, is it just 1 foot or 2 feet together? So for this one, you're moving both feet together, because essentially if I take out the arms, the jump looks like this, right? So ignoring the arms, the jumps look like this when you're doing this one. I'm not sure whether it was the previous one you were looking at, but if it was the throwing of the pillow one, that was both legs jumping and then rotating in the air. Okay, but this one here, if you are jumping, both legs, that's what you're doing, out and in, basically. Okay, so 2 minutes, and then after this, we're gonna restart everything again, and then you're done. You're almost there. Okay, are we ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. Take your time with this if you need. Try to see if you can touch the floor, reach the opposite arm up to the ceiling, and I want you to look up at that top arm if you can. How are we doing? Keep breathing. If you need a break, take a break and get right back into it if you can. Now, if you do want to try the jumping version, I don't expect you to jump for 2 minutes straight, okay? You can do a few jumps and then come back to the stepping version if you prefer. That's absolutely fine. Good, well done, everybody. You've got 1 minute left. You're almost there. Are we breathing? See if you can squat a little bit lower with each repetition you do. But of course, bear in mind, you don't need to do this quite as fast. If you want to do it slower, please feel free to do it slower. You're doing really good. You've got about 30 seconds left. Almost there. Breathing through it. Well done. 20 seconds left. Almost there. This is your last exercise of round 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Woo! How are we feeling? Oh, okay, it was jumping over the pillow, your question earlier. Yep, no worries. Okay, so we're back to the beginning. So you got 5 exercises left, and then we're done. You're almost there. Okay, don't give up now. We're almost there. So exercise number 1, as a reminder, we're opening those arms up and your legs are nice and wide, toes pointing on a diagonal slightly, so we don't want them pointing forward, but a little bit on a diagonal. From here, we're going to squat and clap on the diagonal. Now, when you clap on the diagonal, I don't want to see anybody do this. That's not a diagonal because now we're rotating. So when you clap, you're actually trying to frame your torso to face forward, but your arms are either side of your ears, okay? Okay, you can do this. 2 minutes. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. Remember, you can do this nice and slow if you like, but I want you to go nice and deep in the squat, clapping upwards. And when you drive upwards to the clap, I want that part to be fast. I want you to push the floor away from you as you drive up. Good, well done. Make sure your chest is facing forward, so you're getting a little bit of a stretch through your torso as you're doing this as well. Well done. 30 seconds in. Keep it going. If you need to rest, have a rest and then get right back into it if you can. Nice and low in the squat and clapping. Now, remember, if you want a more challenging part, when you clap, you can lift that leg off the floor if you like, or you can stay with the foot on the floor. 1 minute left. Woo! You can do it. Breathing through it. Keep your chest up even in the squat. I don't want to see anybody do this. Keep your chest up if you can. Well done. 45 seconds left. Breathing. Good. You got about 30 seconds. 35. Making sure you're actually squatting so we're not losing our squat and doing this. Right? We want to actually squat down with those legs and then clap upwards. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good, well done. Take a couple of deep breaths. And then we're going to pick up our cushion. We've got 4 exercises left, and then we are done. Okay, so this one here is going to be our lunge walks across the room. So remember, we were lunging forward or lunging back, or sorry, lunging forward and lunging back, or stepping forward and stepping backwards. Do you remember this one? Yeah. And as you're going forward, whether you're stepping or lunging, you're passing that cushion around your body. And then when you go backwards, whether that's stepping or lunging, you're going to throw that cushion up in the air. Do you remember this? Yeah. Okay, you got 4 exercises left. You can do it. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. Passing that cushion around your body. If you don't want to lunge, that's okay. You can step as long as your step actually looks like a step, right? We want to make sure we're stepping as far back or as far forward as we can. If you are doing the lunge, I want you to just check in with your body and double check that you are keeping your chest up and we're not leaning forward like this. But you want to imagine your torso is like an elevator. You can only go up and down, not forward and backwards. How are we doing? Good. You're 45 seconds in. You can do it. Well done, everybody. Making sure when you're passing the cushion around your body, you're keeping your chest up. We don't want to be leaning forward. And then when you're throwing the cushion in the air, make sure you're actually throwing it into the air as high as you can, almost like you want it to touch the ceiling. You've got 45 seconds left. You're almost there. Doing good. Making sure you're not holding your breath. Step out as far as you can when you're doing the lunge or the step. Holding that balance in your split leg stance position. Well done, 15 seconds, almost there. Breathing. Keep going if you can, you're almost done. Almost done, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, now you've only got 3 exercises left, but don't get rid of the cushion just yet. We're gonna need it for the next one. So the next one here, I'm facing sideways and I want you to face sideways too. So this is the one where you're holding onto the cushion, you're rising up onto both of your toes, and then you're coming down and you're throwing that cushion into the floor as hard as you can. And then you can either jump with both legs to turn to the other side or step. But if you are stepping, I want to challenge you to only do 3 steps and be at the side you want to be. So you got to turn pretty sharply to get 3 steps in only, okay? Do you remember this? So you're rising onto your toes, and as you rise up onto your toes, you're bringing the cushion overhead and then down as hard as you can. So I want to hear the cushion on the floor, even though your mics are muted, but still. Okay, are we ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Jump or step to turn. Really think about throwing that cushion at the floor as hard as you can. So imagine if your cushion is filled with feathers. I want you to throw so hard that it feels like the feathers might bust out of the cushion. Now, if you don't want to jump, you're stepping. You're doing 3 steps to turn around. 1, 2, 3. Or if you want to do some jumps, but you don't want to do it for the full 2 minutes, of course, you can do a couple of jumping mixed with a couple of stepping if you want. You got 1 minute left. You're almost there. Making sure when you're throwing the cushion, you're using the momentum from your rise to get that force for that pillow to come crashing down to the floor. You want to throw so hard it almost feels like your cushion might bounce. Well done, everybody. You've got about 30 seconds left. You're almost there. Almost there. Whew. Are we breathing? Good. Well done, everybody. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay. Whew. You got 2 exercises left, and then you're done. You're almost there. Okay. Next one, you're going to grab your towels or your fabrics, whatever you have. Now, this is the one where it's very similar to our previous one where we got the cushion to circle around the body, and then we threw the cushion up in the air. So with this one, your legs are doing the same thing. You're either stepping or lunging forward. Step or lunge forward, and then you're going to step or lunge backwards across the room. Remember this? Yeah. The only difference here is you've got a towel on in each hand, and as you go forward, you're going to throw and catch the towel in the opposite hand to the leg, like this. Opposite hand to leg, throw and catch. And then backwards, across the room. Okay? 2 minutes. Oh, and if that's too hard for you, you can just do it on the spot, going forward and back. Okay? So if you don't want to do traveling, just do it on the spot. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. Making sure that you're checking in with yourself. Is your chest still upright? We don't want to be leaning forward. Imagine your body is like an elevator. You can only go up and down with that trunk, and we're not leaning forward. Well done, everybody. Good. Now, if the throwing and catching with the coordination of the stepping is too difficult, you can step or lunge first and then throw that cushion. It's entirely up to you. You've got 1 minute left. Remember, after you throw and catch, you're holding that position for a second or two before moving on. Good. Well done, everybody. How are we doing? Still breathing, hopefully. Don't hold your breath. If you need a rest, have a rest and then get right back into it if you can. They don't call it a challenger for nothing. Well done, everybody. Keep it going. You've got 20 seconds left. You're almost there. Well done. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay. You can put those towels away. We got one more exercise left, and then you're done. You're almost there. Whew. Last 2 minutes of hard work, and that's it. So the last exercise was a reminder of the legs. Step out to squat, come back in. Step out to squat, come back in. The arms go. Step out to squat, reach to the floor and reach up to the ceiling. And you're going to look up towards your top arm, come back in. Other side. Look up to your top arm and come back in. Now, if you don't want to step and you want more of a challenge with jumps, same thing. Jump, back in. Jump, back in. Okay? Entirely up to you. Last 2 minutes of hard work. Are we ready? Yes, you are. We can do it. 3, 2, 1, and go. Last 2 minutes. You can do it. The end is always the hardest. Bargain with yourself. What do you want to achieve? You can do it. Keep going. Stepping out to the side as far as you can. Reach those arms in opposite directions. If you can't touch the floor, don't worry. That's okay. Just keep pushing yourself. Go as far as you possibly can. You can do this. Keep breathing. Keep stepping. If you absolutely need a break, stop for a few seconds and get right back in if you can. You can do it. You can do it. Trying to rotate that body as you reach those arms in opposite directions. You're trying to look up at the ceiling. Yes, well done, everybody. You can do this. You're almost a minute, almost a minute. A few more seconds. 1 minute left. How far can you step for the last minute? How far can you reach? Don't give up now. It's only a minute, only a minute. Keep going. If you have it in you, try a couple of jumps if you want. Try a couple of jumps if you want. Yeah, well done. You can do this. You've got 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. Almost there. Keep it going. Keep it going. 20 seconds. Almost there. Well done. Breathing. Keep going. Squat nice and low. Reach those arms. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. Whew. Okay, deep breaths in. Reach those arms up overhead. And breath out. Lowering your arms to the floor. Again, breath in. Reach the arms up and breath out. Lowering down, hang your upper body nice and low. Drop the head. Reach for the floor if you can. One more. Breathe in. And out. Nice job, everybody. Come back up. We're going to interlace the hands. Bring the palms forward like so, rounding your back like this, rounding your back. And then you're going to twist to either side. You're twisting from side to side. Deep breath still as we're doing this. Back to the middle. Other side, reaching. Deep breathing. Drop the arms. We're going to come to a wall. Fingertips on the wall. Step back with one of your legs. Bending the front knee. Reaching the back heel towards the floor. Straightening that leg. You should feel a stretch in the back of the calf. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back in. Same thing, other side. Stepping back, bending the front knee, straightening the back knee. Reach that heel to the floor. Holding it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Now, you're going to use a chair if you have one, or a stool. You're going to do your thigh stretch, holding onto the wall. You're going to place one leg behind you like so, knees in line, and you're going to push the hips forward to feel a stretch at the front of the thigh. But of course, if you want a deeper stretch and you're flexible enough, you can hold onto that foot and pull it to your bottom. Whatever works for you. Good. And switch sides. Same thing on the other side. Either use that chair or you can use your hand, pull that foot towards you, whatever feels better for you. Make sure you're pushing the hips forward to feel that stretch. Good. And rest. From here, legs nice and wide. You're going to bend your knee on one side and keep the other one straight. From here, you're going to stick your bottom back as far as you can to feel the stretch in the inner thigh. Good. And then we're going to switch to the other side. Stick your bottom back as far as you can to feel that stretch in the opposite leg. And come back up. And you are done. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for our final April Challenger class. I hope you found that enjoyable, and I hope you found it challenging, but not impossible. But it was a quiet chat box is always a good thing, means everybody's working hard. Now, just a reminder, at the very top of the chat box is a link that I put in for our future classes. So if you did want to sign up for any of our future exercise classes, you can click on that link and join in. Yes, no worries at all, Angela. Thanks so much for joining us. No problem if you weren't able to follow the whole thing. That's absolutely fine. It is a work in progress. So, always come back to it if you can and as your body allows. The most important thing is we enjoy moving in our bodies and we feel a little bit more confident in ourselves. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for your great comments and thank you for joining us as always. And please do keep an eye out for our future events. If you wanted to look at this class again, the recorded sessions, they are on YouTube. And well, the first 3 sessions, not today's yet, but I will put it on YouTube. And you can watch it starting from next week. Okay, well, it's always a good thing when my glasses start fogging up after a workout. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye. Have a good rest of the week. Enjoy your weekend. Bye everybody. Thank you.